The political environment in Baghdad is still bad, and in the end, if that doesn't improve, there is no way we can find any kind of meaningful stability out of this effort. So this is a very interim result that Ken Pollack and I wrote about today in terms of military progress on the battlefield.
Michael, 8 days in Iraq, and you come back, and you say you're more optimistic than you were 6 months ago, and yet today, again, as is every day, 6 killed, 30 wounded in a bus explosion in Baghdad, and you just said that, without Baghdad being cohesive politically, nothing will work in Iraq, and yet nothing seems to be working in Baghdad. So how can you be optimistic?
I'm not optimistic. I said the military part of this strategy is working well enough to warrant a few more months of effort. I was one of the people saying 5 years ago, if you're going to go in and do this, you got to do it seriously, with a lot of force and a serious game plan. I've been a critic of the administration all along. I've been wrong sometimes. I've been right a fair number of times. I'd rather just debate this on the merits. We are not cherry-picking the facts. We talk about a number of places where there are good things going on, but we also say the sectarian problem has not by any means been resolved, and what we're talking about is a situation where there is some progress on the military front that I think permits us to try for a few more months to have some effort at political reconciliation.
On the part of cherry-picking, frankly, their peace ignores the whole southern part of Iraq, which is the Shiite part of Iraq, the majority of Iraq, where we don't have much of a presence. The Brits have actually decreased their presence, and it's a mess. And it's a big part of the problem where we're looking myopically at certain parts of the situation, not looking at the whole, and seeing that the basic violence has not dropped considerably overall in the country, and the political process is stuck, and I think we got to call it like it is, and the more that we actually wish and dream and hope that Iraq might be a certain way, rather than calling it like it is, the further we get away from a solution. So the simple fact is, in many of the areas where you're citing progress, it rests upon the fact that we're actually working with sectarian police forces. There's been sectarian cleansing in Mosul, in the province that you're talking about, and a lot of the things that we're defining as progress, you're defining in your piece as progress, actually are the sorts of things that we're trying to guard against in terms of sectarian cleansing, actually are the sorts of things that we're trying to guard against in maintaining a unified Iraqi state. When we're actually developing security assistance programs that are aimed at undermining the Iraqi central government, it raises a big question about what are we actually doing with this strategy, and are we switching the basic terms of President Bush's surge strategy overall?
It's a gamble, but what's the better policy? There is no better policy if you still are trying to salvage something. I think Brian has concluded, and it's fair.
The better policy is the one you advocated in 2004, where you said, set a date and let's get out and intensify our diplomatic efforts.